Welcome to Cosmic Channels. I'm Braden, your host. This is your call-in show. I just host it, where you can get all your spooky ghost stories, Bigfoot sightings, UFO sightings. You got a theory on conspiracy. This is your place. This is your space to make those kind of calls. Lines are open 1-833-703-0424. That's 1-833-703-0424. Had a little bit of ghost in the lines tonight. I was having none of my wires were working, nothing was reading. I had to restart, unplug everything, replug it in numerous times to just get it to work, and then all of a sudden it works for no reason, no rhyme or reason, no idea why. 1-833-703-0424. Whoever wants to be that first call of the night, you got a ghost story or theory you want to share, feel free. We do have, listen, get some stickers. The stickers look so awesome. So excited about them. They're going to be the first stickers up on the new studio when I'm done. Probably break ground on that. Well, ground's been broke. Framing that up middle of the month. But go check it out. Link. Thank you to Silver Lotus and Cryptid Designs for partnering up with Cosmic Channels to provide some reasonably priced stickers. I mean, we have a store. You can buy some shirts. For some reason, I don't know why, stickers are just the sticker prices are just unbelievable. It's wild. I've never understood. So we don't actually do them because the amount of people we get messages from being like, yo, these stickers are unbelievably unreasonable, and to the point where we were getting messages about that when we weren't even taking a profit. We were selling them at cost. That's how much the supplier was selling them for. So I'm glad these are working out. I'm hearing rave reviews about the stickers, so go check them out. Links in the description. And again, thank you to Silver Lotus and Cryptid Designs. We got a couple other stories to read here. Before this one's got some. Let me see if I can say the name. Make it anonymous. Okay, I think this is pretty. This works. Okay, I'll do this. All right. I can show this off here. Where is it? There it is. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Whoops. Terrible. Listen, if you want it anonymous, send me an attachment in a Word document. That's the grade A standard. Hey guys, I'm gonna get right into it. I've had multiple strange experiences involving lights in the sky over the past year, and this person uses an alias. So if I say the name, don't be like, "Oh, you're saying the name." It's an alias. And these are the two most important stories. If you guys choose to share it on the show, please keep me anonymous. I'm so sorry for how long they are. I just want to include every detail so that maybe you guys can help me figure out what the hell I'm seeing. First experience. I went on a spontaneous overnight trip with my best friend to Point Reyes, California, around March last year. Point Reyes itself is a really cute town, about half an hour from the beach with a huge creek connecting to the ocean. We went there to see the shipwreck, which the small town is known for. We arrived around 5 p.m., had some dinner, figured out where we were staying for the night, and then took a hit of acid for some added fun. I mean, listen, that spices things up a little bit there, and variety is the spice of life. So a little hit of acid, you're gonna dial up the fun to 11, I'm guessing. I know that drug involvement can really discount a story, but what we saw and experienced that night really cannot be attributed to the substance. In my opinion, Uh, I just had to include it for honesty. At around 11 p.m., we decided to go for a nighttime walk along the creek to see the stars and see the shipwreck again. We tried to go on to Google Maps for directions, and neither of our phones worked. They just kept glitching, and the app kept closing. We thought that was weird, but decided to try and walk anyways, even though we didn't know where we were going. About half an hour in, without seeing the shipwreck, we felt lost and decided to head back to the hotel. We made it to the parking lot, decided to sit down and stargaze and stare out at the water. I was counting the stars when suddenly I saw it. A bright orb, about the size of a very large beach ball, was floating slowly over the top of the trees. This ball of light was close, hovering right across the street from us, barely over the power lines. It was changing colors, alternating between light purple and red. I got this huge wave of calm when I saw it, which is honestly one of the weirdest parts of the story to me. Very calmly, I pointed it out to my friend, asking him if he saw it too. And we kept talking to each other to make sure we were seeing the same thing. Suddenly, there were more of them, all trailing behind the first one at uneven intervals, all slowly blinking different colors. There were 6 in total, each going at their own pace, floating towards the mountains in the distance. There was no one else around, and these things were completely silent. I had my phone on me, so I tried to open the camera app, but to no avail. My phone wouldn't even let me unlock it. I stared right at the first one, trying to remember as much as I could, when I suddenly started saying some weird shit in a sort of robotic, emotionless voice to my friend. I was telling him to be calm, that they wouldn't hurt us, and that we were safe. I don't really fully remember saying this, but he swore to me that I said it later on when we recounted this story to each other. What I remember is kind of blanking out while watching them until I heard a voice in my head telling me to go back to the hotel. I don't know how else to explain it. My body just turned around on its own, started walking back to the hotel. My friend later told me that he got the same weird feeling, and we both walked back. We spent all night trying to figure out what we saw and couldn't come up with anything. I can't even tell you how long we saw them for, because the tail end of the memory is so foggy. They were moving at a walking pace, so I think we saw them for about a full 2 minutes. Both of our phones didn't work correctly until morning, and I have no idea how to explain that either. If I had been alone, even I would have blamed the drugs. But the fact that we both saw the same thing at the same time really makes me think otherwise. The latest experience. In December of last year, I went on a trip with the same friend to Carmel, California. We stayed at a super nice Airbnb with a great view of the ocean. We got the Airbnb super late at night and just decided to chill and catch up together. We stayed sober this time, I promise. At around 2:20 a.m., I went out for a cigarette. It was super clear night and I could see the horizon over the water. At 2:22 a.m., my friend came outside to sit with me. Not even 10 seconds later, we noticed 2 bright lights over the water in the distance. They were moving pretty fast for how big they seemed, and they were definitely bigger and brighter than any other kind of orb I've seen. One was bright white, and the other was more of a golden orange. We ruled out lighthouse and helicopter immediately. They didn't seem to have a flight pattern and moved around in the sky kind of sporadically, crossing paths with each other, moving up and down, and slowly getting closer. I started getting nervous and went inside, but I was finally able to get some pictures. As soon as they got closer, I got the sense that they were searching for something or documenting something. Sometimes a light would shine straight down from the orbs and move around on the ground like a spotlight from a helicopter. I couldn't stop watching them. I sat by the window for hours while they moved around the coast, back and forth around the beach. We saw these weird orbs throughout the entire night, and when we decided to go to bed, periodically a strobe light would shine through the window and light up the whole room. At one point, I don't know why, but I turned the flashlight on my phone on and shined it back and forth slowly in front of the window. Less than 30 seconds later, a beam of light shot right back at me, staying steady on me for at least 10 seconds because I was able to turn around and see my silhouette against the wall before it faded and moved away. What the hell? Again, I wasn't really scared so much as I was nervous. If whatever it was wanted to hurt me, I feel like it totally could have in the moment, but it didn't. They seemed to have a job to do, if that makes sense. I included pictures of the orbs I saw as they moved around and pictures of the same view in the morning, where I could clearly see there wasn't any light or anything out there besides the trees and the water. What moves around like that? I've seen these weird orb guys when I'm either alone or with this friend of mine. We're both super open-minded people, so maybe that's why we're able to see them. They also seem to appear more often on nights with full moon. Not sure if that has anything to do with it, but it's just a pattern that I've noticed. I've looked for hours online for similar stories and haven't been able to find any quite like mine. The closest I could get are stories about angel orbs, but even those tend to be smaller in size, and nearly none of the stories mention orbs that change colors. I like to think that I'm a logical person, but I can't find anything to explain these lights. I've watched videos of drones flying, airplanes, etc., and nothing has moved in the same uncalculated way the orbs do. I know that the drugs were included in the first story, but to me that doesn't explain how my friend and I both saw and remembered the same thing from that night and the many other times we've seen strange lights in the sky since then. If he didn't see them too, I'm sure I would have thought I was losing my mind. You guys sort of touched on orb-like lights in your episode about the Jersey Devil. That's Alien Theaters Theorizing. But even that was way different kind of orb than the ones I've seen. I'm totally interested in hearing any theories you guys might have about these ones. And if you guys don't believe it, that's okay too. I have someone else who saw it to back me up and make me feel less crazy. And that's all the validation I need. All I know is that seeing them has really changed my life and made me more interested in the worlds that may exist outside of our own. It gives me hope that there's really life outside of our planet, and that's enough for me. Could you guys maybe explore orbs in future episodes? I would love for someone else to explain what I might have seen. I think they're angels, but obviously I have no proof either way. Thank you for reading. Hope it wasn't too long and boring. Most sincere, you're a really big fan, Kitty. We got some pictures here. So those are the two orbs. So two light orbs shining the light in. Interesting. From the window, it looks like. And then the view. So that looks like the same, the two windows. I mean, it's hard to see from that. It's pretty open ocean. I mean, what would be shining that big? Boats? Fishing boats, maybe? I'm just trying, I'm not saying that. But flying around, shining a bright light like that? I don't know. The first story, listen. Maybe you did see something. But you took the acid. So it's interesting because I'm like, as soon as you say that, you're like, it's just tough because right away my brain goes to, well, people will describe things to each other while high and stuff. Like I've known people, friends of friends who've dabbled in magic mushrooms, who've had shared experiences, and that's because they're explaining it to each other and then they kind of experience. Maybe. I'm just saying that's a possibility, and because you took those hallucinogenics, that's a possibility we can't really ignore. As far as the other ones, though, I mean, I've heard stories of things moving in that grid-like pattern or searching. We've kind of heard that before. It's kind of interesting that you have a theory that you've seen these things more often on full moons. I wonder if that has anything to, is actually something, if that's when you should be keeping those eyes on the skies way better. It's hard to say. Kitty, thank you so much for sending that story in. Really appreciate it. And listen, if you got a story, you've seen a UFO or something, and you are too nervous to call in to Cosmic Channels and talk to me, that's no big deal. It's not difficult. It's not hard. I make it pretty painless. But you can always write in CosmicChannelsPodcast@gmail.com. Write in your story and I'll read it live on air, and we can discuss it after. Interesting story though. I'm perplexed on the two lights, especially because it seems like you kind of flash them, and it feels like if it was a boat or something, I feel like it wouldn't really notice an iPhone light. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's a very interesting. Thank you so much for sending that in. Let's move this to red so I don't read it again. There we go. Let's go to the chat here. There we go. Oh, listen, we're almost at the hours. 27, I can't remember. I just looked, just over 2,700, which means we're under 300 hours away on our Cosmic Channels YouTube from monetizing that channel. Then we take super chats and stuff like that. So that'll be kind of a big move as we look to grow the show. Let's go to the chat here. Tons of people on there. Holy, the chat's been blowing up while I was reading that. Yeah, some first name says substances equals the same as dreams. The second you say substances and then you have a crazy experience, I'm not saying those two can't be separate. You have substances and crazy experience. Sure, it can happen. What I'm saying is that when you try to explain that experience after, anyone else listening to that story has to take your substance use, and I'm not saying you're dry, just that substance use in that event as a huge factor. I'm not saying it makes me believe less. But I'm just saying when I hear that, I go, drugs are crazy, man. They're fucking wild. So if you're doing stuff like that, you do a little salvia, you'll leave this planet entirely. So it's hard to say, right? That's a tough one. John Jacoby's in there. We got Regolith Rose. Bandito's in there. Hey, Bandito. Duchess is here. Alan's here. Welcome, Alan. Pyrodor. APB to the channel. Hope some of my followers are into this. I don't know what an APB is. Looks like I was glitching. Listerine says, "Oh, I live in the southern hemisphere. We had not too long ago southern lights, similar to the northern lights, just upside down." No, listen. If you get a chance, if you haven't seen them, and you get a really big, storm. And again, we're in the solar maximum right now, so the odds of seeing northern lights in spots you would never see them are way higher right now. You just gotta, there's so many alerts out there. The one I use, spaceweather.com, to get alerts, to know when you can kind of see that. For us, it shows the oval of where the potential site is of them. So it's kind of cool to see. I'd recommend you doing the same if you're into that kind of stuff. Looks like I was glitching, but that's better. Alan's asking, have you ever tried DMT? No, I've never tried dimethyltryptamine, the God particle. I've seen the documentaries, fascinated, interested, but I've known a couple people who have done it, friends of friends, smoking it out of a broken light bulb, and I'm like, that's just, it's not my style. Maybe if you went and did a special trip and did it with the shaman and the ayahuasca, or the down there properly, or in some sort of trial where they were doing this study, like the God particle documentary, but hitting it out of a broken light bulb, not really my style. And to be honest, dude, I got a little guy. Life's good. I don't need to leave the planet. I don't need to leave my life for 50 years right now. Maybe when I'm older. I'm always interested, though. It's fascinating that, what that would be like. And I've heard stories, and I know people who've done it and tell me the most insane stories, just life-changing stuff. And it's also kind of scary because you're like, you know, some people have these like super powerful trips that are almost life changing when they come back, and you know that in itself is kind of a little, you know, scaring. You're like, am I gonna be different if you do that and then you come back? Dude, I bought DMT ingredient from Spain once and caught a visit from the local DEA agents. You had Hank Schrader there. They were trying to shut down your Heisenberg operation there. Andrew Ward saying, "What's up, brother? What's going on, Andrew?" Mimosa hostilis powder. Wild. Just cosmic salad. Yeah, you know, that's a fun way. Grow your own ayahuasca. I mean, that's yeah, listen, every day I've been rewatching Breaking Bad, and every day I'm like, you know, it's just basic chemistry. No, it's yeah, it's interesting. I would, but no, not right now. I'm good. I'm good for now. Maybe later. We got another story. Lines are open. 1-833-703-0424. Have you had a life-changing DMT experience? Send it in, or write it in, or call in 1-833-703-0424. You know, I've heard the Steel Elves. You hear the Steel Elves a lot, and it's weird to. That's a weird thing. You know, it's interesting is that collective people. A lot of people see the exact same thing, and part of me like that's so weird, right? That's not weird to anyone. Like, you can be across the world, do DMT, someone else does DMT, no contact with each other, and you guys see the same. You'll describe seeing the exact same thing. I mean, where are you going? You know what I mean? It's very, very fascinating stuff. All right, this story is from. Can I read this person's name? They didn't say, so I'm reading it. All right, let's. This is from Nick. Thank you, Nick, for writing this in. Again, you got a story you don't want to call in. Cosmic Channels, you get a little nervous on the phone. It's fine. We all do. This is painless, so I make it painless. We've got, you know, I'm going to have to start making like some sort of infomercial of all the people who have like phone call anxiety, who have called in and beat their anxiety by calling in the show. That's the secondary factor of calling into Cosmic Channels, is I'll cure your phone anxiety the more times you call in. This is from Nick. This is Nick's UFO story. Have I had music going? Interesting. Wait a minute. Weird. All right. My UFO story. For as long as I can remember, I've been a huge believer in aliens and all things unexplainable. To me, it makes life a lot more interesting thinking of the unknown and never-ending possibilities of what could be out there and what could already be here on Earth. I have always looked at the sky and have seen some weird things over the years, but this one occurrence has vividly stuck with me for almost 10 years. May 2009. My family went on a trip to Las Vegas where we stayed at the Diamond Resorts next to MGM. I was across the street with my mother getting food when I received a phone call from my brother to go outside, that there was something in the sky over the Luxor Hotel. I feel like I've read this before. I feel like this story I've read, or differently. I wonder if this is a double up. I've read this before. Have I? See, this is the problem, because I never used to. Wasn't the best organizer, so now I'm never sure. Thank you for the tip that it doesn't play when I'm sharing my screen. I'll have to fix that. All right. Well, we'll just keep going. See, it's hard to say if I've just. Sometimes I pre-read a story. Like I'll be like, "Ooh, I get new story," and I'll pre-read it, and I'll go, "Ooh," and then I just get hooked because it's not like sometimes you're reading an interesting encounter, and then you go, "Ooh, this is interesting," and I read the whole thing. But then when I read it on the show, I go, "Oh, have I read this already? I can't remember." But I'll read it again anyways, if in case I have. Where was I? I received a phone call from my brother to go outside, that there was something in the sky over by the Luxor Hotel. At the time, he was on the balcony back at the hotel, and I stayed on the phone, told my mom that we need to go, and quickly made our way through the casino. When we got outside, we looked toward the Luxor, and there it was, a UFO. This was not your ordinary saucer-shaped silver multi-light vessel, but an odd-shaped and a mixture of dark and light red. My mom's first instinct was to take out her Canon camera and to take a picture of it, but could not focus, and at the time wasn't taking any pictures. The UFO was just hovering relatively low right behind the Luxor Hotel. Being 16, I was frantic and just kept pointing and couldn't really believe what we were seeing, but no one gathered by us to look. I swear it felt like no one could see us. The streets of Las Vegas are always busy with many people, and they just kept walking by us. It felt as if we were standing there for an hour just watching, and then finally started to slowly rise and rise until it disappeared behind the clouds, which was strange enough considering how you don't see many clouds in Vegas. 10 minutes later, the Luxor light at the top of the hotel shut off. 3 blacked out suburban SUVs pulled in front of the hotel with their police lights in the windshield. We heard fighter jets fly over the strip, and to top it all off, it was the same weekend that former President Obama was staying at Caesar's Palace Hotel. All in all, it was a crazy family experience that I'll never forget. My mom was able to get one picture as it started to depart. When we pulled it up, we had to zoom in to see what it was. The picture I've attached is a picture of my broken MacBook where I uploaded. I remember this. I'm pretty sure I've read this before. I have a hard copy somewhere, but I need to find it. When I do, I'll send another picture. I've only shared this story with a handful of people. That's my UFO story. Love the podcast. Hope all is well. Thank you for reading. Nick from New York. I mean, I know I've looked at this picture. It's a night photo. It's impossible. Like, what are you going to do? Nothing you can do with that. Hard to see. I know I've read that one before. I just must have forgot to put it in the read one, so it's my bad. You got double read, Nick. A couple more. Lines are open. 1-833-703-0424. We need some callers. So it's already 6:38. No callers tonight. I mean, we're getting close. Season 9 is going to start in September. Do the first recording for season 9 in 2 weeks today, September 19th. We will be recording the start of season 9, so a little more serious, a little longer episodes as we gear up for Halloween, spooky season. And the first podcast version of season 9 will come out September 26th, and then we'll be coming out on the reg. So if you like to listen to the podcast version on your rides to work, you like the different vibe, that will be ready for you. Let's go reopen the chat. Let's see what's going on there. Pirate Door. Yeah, read it. I did. I definitely did. I remember that picture. The picture when I went. Yeah, weird it doesn't play when I'm in that, but I'll fix that later. Sleeps for the week. You gotta stay up all day, all night. Good night, Bandito. F Ponce Dragon, what's going on? What's going on, F Ponce? And Chango. Oh, Chango, we haven't seen you around in a long time. It's funny because we've been our main channel, Big Theory Productions, where Alien Theories Theorizing is host, and all the live streams go for people on Patreon. We've been just recently released from our shadow ban. Well, we weren't even shadow banned. We were told we had a strike for medical misinformation. I'm not going to say what we were misinforming about. We disagreed. We thought it was a funny joke. YouTube, however, did not. So we were demonetized and restricted for 90 days. And that ended on August 30th. So, we're back, baby. Nice. Good to be back. Different ways you can help support the show. Listen, you want to support Cosmic Channels, go buy a shirt. Go buy some stickers. Go watch some of our old YouTube videos. Go share a post on Instagram or TikTok. And, you know, we can, that all helps the show. Or if you want to hit us up and help fund the bills, paypal.me/CosmicChannelsPodcast. That's the easiest way to, support the show, help pay for the bills. It's 100% crowdfunded. Everything we raised in the show, I put right back into the show. Every dime, nickel, everything. It's a labor of love right now. Maybe one day it'll pay off. Maybe not, but not if we don't get any calls. So, best place to get shirt or merch in general. I think it's in the chat. We have a CrowdMade store. There's a couple shirts. I think it was Invalid ID came up with a new sign off. It's the new sign off is gonna be like, hey, and if you're on hold, unfortunately the lines are now closed, so make sure to be a cunt and call us next Tuesday. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Kind of goes with the fuck you call us theme of the show. 1-833-703-0424. Lines are open. I've got a couple more stories that I can read here. Oh, that one's a video. I can't play that. I have to pre-check it out. Moon one I've read. Oh no, we might be officially out of stories. Yeah, that's it. I just have one video, but I'm unwilling to. I don't know. Sometimes people send us some messed up stuff. I just can't. I don't dare open it on there. Merch in general. There's a link in the description to our CrowdMade store. There's Cosmic Channels has a couple shirts and a couple sweaters. You know, I'll probably throw some beanies on there or something for the winter. Some hats. Maybe in the next week or so, I'll try to get that done. There'll be more stuff on there. By the September 19th, I will have some new merch on the Cosmic Channel store. So if you like hats, and I'll throw up a Keep Those Eyes on the Skies hat and some Cosmic Channels gear and new beanies and stuff like that for the fall. So that's the best way to support the show there. We have got a couple people donating to the show, and there's a donating link in the description. So if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch, I believe there's a link right in the description of where you can help the show out. That is, thank you so much, Art by Jesse, donating to the show. Listen, hey, it all helps. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, perfect. Birthday time, just start sending people that merch link. Listen, ATT's got some wicked merch out right now too. We got some tie-dye shirts and stuff, some cool stuff. I dig it. I also make it, so it's I'm a little biased. Lines open 1-833-703. I'm going to take a quick beer break to fill up my water. We'll be right back. Lines are still open. You can still connect with me. So if you're like, oh, I want to call, still call. I'll be right back. I'm back with the top up. Lines are still open, 1-833-703 if you got a show. If not, listen, I'm gonna 4 minutes. If I don't get a call, I'm gonna wrap up this last summer session, and then I'm gonna take next week, the 12th off, and we're gonna be going season 9 starting on the 19th. So hopefully that'll be just enough time to get everyone back in the swing of back to school in the fall, and getting ready to share some of their spooky stories from stuff they've seen over the summer holidays. So got time for a call. 1-833-703-0424 if you want to call. That's it. The stories. I am bone dry. I've read every story throughout these last summer sessions. I've gone through all our backlog of written submissions of stories. Also, I'm always kind of curious, what else could we do on the live show? Do people want to review on review spooky videos? If you sent me spooky videos, we could watch them, review them, look at them, takes on them. Is that something you guys would be interested in? The Cosmic Channels live stream for me is to get calls and record those calls. But listen, there's lulls and calls. We can do other stuff. So what are some stuff that you would like to see? It's your show. So, thoughts of how to grow it and whatnot. Let me know. Let a guy know. And we can, tweak that up. Working on the new sticker now. We'll have it up tight. So there's going to be a new sticker with the Cosmic Channels and the phone number on there too if you want to buy that, smack that around places. Call online. Calls take priority. Cosmic Channels, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up? It's Duchess. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Same shoes, just a different day.
How's your summer been?
Bless.
How's your summer been?
Good. Making money and chilling at home, away from all the serial killers and the abductions,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice.
Although being at home doesn't really save you from the abductions, but
Well, no,
better safe than sorry.
Yeah, they'll pull you through the window, but the serial killers.
Exactly.
Well, and to be honest, staying home. There's a couple that broke in. Some serial killers were breaking in, so you're never really safe anywhere. Safe?
Thanks for that. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're never really truly safe, no matter where you think you are.
You're never really safe.
Yeah. You just think you're safe.
I'll call because I came across two things recently that I figured would be good for the show.
Right on. Let's hear it.
So you got to take your pick. Okay. So one is, I don't know if you've heard about the discovery of dark oxygen.
No.
Recently, I guess.
I have not.
That's been going around. Okay. And then the other one is the anomalies in Mexico.
Ugh.
That's been going around this past week. I guess people have been posting videos of like radar and whatnot.
Okay, so what's the Mexican one? Give me a rundown on that.
Okay, so the anomalies in Mexico are apparently for the past like I want to say 4 or 5 years. I want to say the first time someone saw it, from what I've seen, and this is only like a week's worth of rabbit hole digging. The first time someone saw it pop up on the radar, and what I mean by radar is just like weather, like the weather apps where it tells you storms and, you know, cold fronts and warm fronts and whatnot. And there's this weird like shape. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It literally looks like a fucking shield. Some people compare it to what it looks like the Mayan calendar, if you can imagine that type of shape. But it's very like, it doesn't look like a natural shape is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and it pops up on the radar for like a couple minutes every so often, every so couple years. I want to say the first time someone saw it was in 2019, if I remember correctly. But yeah, people are you know, obviously asking questions. Because what the fuck?
Well, it kind of looks like almost like a kaleidoscope, like circle. But it's weird. Or like, have you ever seen the videos where they play like sound through sand or something, and you get these like weird geometrical shapes? It kind of looks like that on the radar. There's a whole Reddit thread I just kind of pulled up on this thing.
There's this lady that she did some digging, and obviously I would need to do my own research on to see if all these dots that she connected are legit. But a lot of people were like talking about the hydrogen collider and whatnot, and they're like, well, that's not in Mexico. But they did research on, I guess, in that town where it's popping up is the University of, I want to say it's the University of that city. I forget what it's some Mexican name, and it's long, and I would probably butcher it anyways. So basically they have associations with CERN, and they're like really into like particle acceleration or whatever, the study of particles and like fission and fusion and all that shit. So I just thought that was super fucking dope.
What's so fascinating
because
it's like,
info on that.
And it's like whatever is going on there is manipulating like the weather radar system to make this like geometrical circle. It's very interesting.
Enough to where we can see it on a little radar. Hell yeah. That's crazy. Right. And it's just funny. I brought it up and I was like really intrigued by it because my boss had saw it. I sent it to the group chat the group chat maybe I want to say it was like in January. So for hearing it from like secondhand from someone else that was like, yeah, I found this a minute ago, because we were just swapping alien and, you know, stories back and forth and theories. And he was like, I found this one. And I was like, what the fuck? Shared it with the group chat. And now months later, people are seeing it again. And I was like, wow, that's it's funny.
There's like another one too that when you started talking about this weather anomaly, I was thinking you were going to talk. I think it's off the coast of Africa, South Africa. I might be totally missed, but there's this weather anomaly there that pops up on radar as like this huge, like black mass that pops up, and they're not really sure like what is happening. This is like looking. I found more pictures of the one you're talking about. Like, it's so weird. Like it's epicenter.
Yeah,
like
I find it intriguing because it's so perfect. It's so symmetrical. To me, I see it, and I'm like, that's like.
And there's a pattern to
like
it.
Something man-made.
One, it's 100%. Something man-made that's affecting that radar's picking up, and it's manipulating something because, like you can see in other ones, like it's a perfect circle shape, right? And then it almost looks like an iris or some, and like this one there's some that are very interesting.
It looks like a fucking like a jet turbine or like a turbine.
Yeah, it's very weird, and like it's obviously like because I know the radar and stuff, like the different colors are like the intensities of the bounce back and stuff. So it's like it's picking up different intensities here in some sort of geometrical pattern. that they don't know?
I would love for someone that can translate those like thermal images and stuff like that. If they could like 3D make it, I don't know, some type of mock or model, that would be fucking cool to see like it. And just based off of this radar image, here's what this could look like. And this is what these temperatures mean. So it would, I don't know. I'm not the scientist. I would break that down, but that would be interesting to see if they could make some sort of model with that evidence.
My brain kind of goes to like, I wonder if they're emitting something to try to manipulate weather here.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's where we're picking it up. So it's like, there's like, it's clear epicenter. Like, are they trying to cloud seed? Are they like, it's just so interesting because it's not like it. You know, the weird thing to me is like the weather radar and stuff. It's not like it picks up airplanes and stuff. Like it doesn't track airplanes and stuff like that. Like it's like, I think it's, to be honest, I don't really know how it works, but like I can't remember a time where I've been watching the weather and they showed the weather map and they're like, oh, and don't worry about these dots. Those are all the airplanes in the sky. You know what I mean? So
exactly, yeah. Their technology is well enough that it knows what to pick up and what not to pick up.
I think it's
so that means that whatever is there, they're not accounting for that.
Let's learn.
Or they weren't accounting for it to be picked up on the radar. So that's even more intriguing because when we found out that, well, from when the lady said that they have associations with CERN, they basically do like not festivals, like conventions and stuff, like meetings, yearly meetings and stuff to, you know, fellow scientists get together and talk about discoveries and whatnot or whatever. So I was thinking, like, I mean, it's not too far of a reach that if they already have one particle accelerator, that they would be willing to put their funding into, I mean, it could be another of the same or another machine that does something else. So I wouldn't be surprised if it was some shit like that and we find out later on that they're like, we have a new 3-letter agency that's going to be working on this. Oh, we got our machine up and working in 2 months. Like, really? No, it's because it's been there all along.
Whenever I have questions like this of how does weather radar work or stuff like that, I always hit up ChatGPT and I go, explain this to me as if I'm a child, so I can follow along. And this is what it says. It says, imagine you're playing a game of Marco Polo in a big field, but instead of shouting Marco, you have a magic flashlight that sends out an invisible light beam. Whenever these beams hit something, like a tree or a person, they bounce back to you and you can tell where they are even without seeing them directly. A weather radar works kind of like that magic flashlight. It sends out radio waves, which are like the invisible light into the sky. When these waves hit raindrops, snowflakes, or even hail, they bounce back to the radar. The radar listens for the echoes of these waves coming in and uses them to figure out where the rain or snow is, how far away it is, or even how heavy it might be. So maybe it does work like radar.
It sounds like a sonar.
Yeah, and you can tune it.
It sounds like a fucking bat, like how a bat would get around.
Yeah, so you can tune it, I guess. So maybe like these things are, but it still doesn't make sense that whatever this anomaly is like so clearly powerful when they're tracking just weather events, right? When they have their instruments dialed in for weather. Because I imagine this stuff could be used to track planes and stuff because it's just bouncing it off particles and whatnot. But there's probably some sort of dials where you can dial the intensity. And so there's certain levels for like physical crafts in the sky or metals and reflecting back and different things for like weather events. But it's just interesting that you have such a powerful image, you know, while you're tracking
strong.
weather.
Like that shit is not like, oh, you got to make it out and like squint your eyes. No, that bitch is there. Like there's no denying that something popped up on the radar. That's what is even most intriguing to me. It's not like it's not like a fucking Bigfoot picture where you're like, well, if you turn your head this way and, you know, you adjust the lighting. Like, no, it's there. It's just a matter of what the fuck is that? And I those are the questions I look for because it's like, what? It could be anything because obviously we don't know. So. Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, and it's still
and
like
obviously it's still a fresh story. It came out like the more recent sightings. I think this came out less than a week ago, so we'll probably be hearing a lot more about that.
yeah, the main
Maybe, hopefully.
articles and stuff where it first started popping off are from July, and it's like everything is just speculation right now. They're not really sure what it is according to like the experts. They're like, they think it's a. One expert says it's this is a range test.
Radar testing.
Yeah, and it's a range test, and the computer program running data through the radar to confirm the radar works in all directions. And I mean, it does have that.
Why, but I just don't believe them.
It's so weird because it does have that mechanical, like when you look at it, it has that like mechanical, like it looks like something we're doing, like because it's very patterned and stuff. Like so, it is weird, but I mean, yeah, it's still.
I think we've all seen a plane turbine. That's what that looks like. Like as if I can translate it to something physical, if you're looking down a fucking plane turbine, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, that's exactly where my brain went first. It wasn't like, oh, this is a weird-looking storm. No, it was like, what the fuck is that? That doesn't look like a thunderstorm or a tornado or a hurricane. And it just magically was, that shape. It looks like that's a machine of some sort or something that was put out there that we now picked up that wasn't intended to be picked up. For public knowledge, I would think.
Yeah. No, that's... super interesting. Thank you so much for calling. Let's save the dark oxygen for another time. Call in again and we'll talk dark oxygen.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Have a great one.
Hey, thank you so much for having that discussion with me.
Absolutely.
All right, take care of yourself. Bye. I almost hit in stream instead of in call. Yeah, it's super interesting because it looks patterned almost like noise. It's weird. Pirater is saying, I have a remote job right now that is basically quality control for these AI Google answers. Like 20% is absolutely terrible advice and 20% is us straight wrong. I wouldn't trust this stuff. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, ChatGPT once said I was typing in stuff and you're just messing around with different prompts. And I was asking about myself. I was like, what do you know about me? And I typed my name. Talked about me having a production. It said, talked about alien theorists theorizing. Then it talked about that I moved on to have a production company and produced a couple films. And I'm like, did I? I don't know. And then I'm just like, is this thing tapped into some sort of alternate universe just over where it's just pulling, because this is all just some simulation. So is it just a simulation over that it's pulling from? I tried to go, which movie? And can you produce the script for me? Because I was like, I was just curious to see like how far will this thing, how long will the machine lie? Telling my future. I don't know. We'll see if I produce any movies in the future. Doubtful. But man, I'm never saying I would listen. Someone asks, you want me to produce a movie? Sure. What does a producer do? What do I have to do? What does that entitle? I don't know. Is it a lot of work? I know executive producer is not a lot of work. You just kind of like, that's it. That's all you do. But I don't know about the other stuff. Anyways, I'm going to wrap this summer session up. This is the last for the summer sessions before we go into full-on Cosmic Channels mode starting September 19th. So we'll see y'all there for the kickoff of Season 9. We'll have some fun. I'll have some drinks, take some calls, hopefully. Thank you, Duchess, for calling in. And everyone else, you missed your chance. So make sure to be a cunt. And call us next Thursday. Or not, 2 Thursdays from now. Anyways, see everyone later. Thank you for supporting the show.